Hello, Elite members. It's me, Manny. So, normally, on a Thursday, you guys get an article. And the article is normally a top 5, talking about things. And, let's be honest, it's great going to the toilet material, isn't it? All of you read the article when you're on the toilet. I know it. But yeah, it's like normally like 4 or 5 minute article and just explains what some of the top combos are and things like that, you know, like the best 5 buffs you can use in the game right now, things to watch out for and stuff. But today I thought, let's do a video. So you know, you can watch this on the toilet and then you'll have me watching you while you're taking the toilet. No, yeah, enough of the weird stuff. But yeah, this week what I'm going to talk to you about is Chaos Knights. Now, we've just done a battle report where I used the Infernal house, so I thought I'd talk to you about the Infernal house this week. And what I'm going to do for you as well is I'm going to try out the Iconoclast house, because I've been talking to a couple of members of the ETC team and, you know, just people who like the Chaos Knights in general and have tried them. And I thought, you know what, there's been no clear answer. Some people actually like the Iconoclast ones, some people like the Infernal ones. And, you know, dread blades are pretty good, but I've seen some people not using dread blades and then some people using dread blades. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try them for myself and see exactly which ones are better and feed back to all the Elite members, because you all deserve to know which ones to use, which ones not to use, and when you play against them, what the different ones do. So yeah, Infernal. That's what we use in the battle report this week, so that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about. The Infernal household. Okay, personally, it's my favourite. And I just had so much fun with them in this battle report that we've just done. So I was against 6 Wave Serpents, 3 Crimson Hunter Exarchs, a Farseer, a Warlock, some Storm Guardians, and then there was an Archon, and 5 Cabalites in there as well. So there was potential to vect me. There was a Guardian blob as well, I believe, of like 19 Guardians on a weapons platform. So there was a lot. But the 6 Wave Serpents and the 3 Crimson Hunter Exarchs is exactly what scared me. And I'm not going to give anything away, because obviously you guys are watching this video right now and the battle report is coming out on Saturday. So I don't want to tell you what happened in the battle report 2 days before you actually get to see it. I don't want to ruin it, but they're great. They're so much fun. Chaos Knights are just so much fun. I really enjoyed using them, but there's some really cool things in there. So because I was playing against Alatok, obviously all Eldar is like Alatok now. Well, the Infernal, let's start with the Infernal household thing anyway. The Demonic Surge, I believe it's called. Demonic Surge is awesome. However, it's not as great as it first looks. So over the first 2 turns, I caused like 12 wounds to myself, because you take D3 mortal wounds on your knights to be able to choose which Demonic Surge you want. And obviously against Eldar, it's brilliant, because I was playing Wave Serpents. So with normal Imperial Knights, or with the other houses of the Chaos Knights, your Gatling cannons wound on 5s, because they're only strength 6. They wound on 5s, and then because of Serpent Shields, they only end up doing 1 damage each as well. So wounding on 5s and doing 1 damage is not great at all. You'll never get through the Serpents. However, I was Demonic Surging for the +1 damage on a weapon and +1 strength, and I was doing it on the Gatling Cannon. So my Gatling Cannons were wounding on 4s. Instead of 5s, wounding on 4s. But because they do flat 3 damage, they were then doing 2 damage for each hit that went through. So you're pretty much tripling the damage of what a normal knight does, because normal knight wounds on 5s, then does 1 damage. You wound on 4s, which is 1 better, and then you do 1 extra damage too. So you're pretty much, you're more than doubling the damage you do than a normal knight. So it's really good. Like, you're doing 2.5 times the damage with each Gatler in your army. And obviously I was running 3 Crusaders, so I had 3 Gatling Cannons, and they're really good. They're really, really good. Wounding on 4s and doing 2 damage each to Wave Serpents. Imagine if that was anything else. You toughness 7 tanks, you'd be wounding on 4s, doing flat 3 damage. Anything toughness 6 or lower, you'd be wounding on 3s or 2s and doing flat 3 damage. It's absolutely awesome. But in exchange, I had to take D3 mortal wounds. So I took 6 wounds, I believe, overall from the first turn, and like 5 or 6 wounds turn 2 as well. So I caused like 12 wounds to my own knights to be able to have these abilities. So you know, it's selective. In some turns, it's worth not taking the 3 wounds. It might be worth just taking the 1 wound and rolling randomly on the table, because in some turns it might not matter exactly which benefit you get. So that's one thing. I would be wise with using those and which ones you use, but selecting them is very powerful, and they were very good. Now, because on to the back to the point I was going to make originally, it was relics. The point I was going to make is relics. Now, it was brilliant because I was playing against Alatok. I made my Warlord take the relic where he can ignore modifiers with ranged weapons. Insane, absolutely insane. When you've got a melter that is hitting wave servers on like 3s, and then they have a stratagem, don't they, Chaos Knights, where one knight can fully reroll hit rolls for like 2 command points. So when you've got a melter that's hitting on 3s with rerolls, even against Alatok, that will get through stuff. And then also, oh my god, the Gatling cannon hitting on 3s with rerolls against Alatok stuff is awesome. That Gatling cannon was awesome. The Warlord was wicked. And then obviously because he's got because there'll be a Warlock and a Farseer, and they'll be trying to cast these powers, what I did was I made his Warlord trait, the one where he can deny psychic power. Then on my second knight, I took the relic, which makes him a Psyker, so that he can cast Smite, which is pretty cool. But then also it lets him deny a power, so I have 2 denies on knights in the army. And that second one, who had the relic to deny, I didn't buy any extra Warlord traits. I only took the 1 Warlord trait, but I had 3 relics. So the first relic was the ignores modifiers, and the second relic was on that guy, which was the deny psychic power and caster Smite. But I also made him a Dreadblade, because you can make whichever knights you want Dreadblades in your army, as many as you want, but 1 Dreadblade from each detachment gets to pick a Pact and a Damnation, I believe. You can choose a Pact, or you can roll 2 dice and apply them both. But the one I liked was where you roll a d6 before the game. On a 1 to 3, you get +2 move for the game. On a 4 or 5, you get +1 weapon skill for the game. On a 6, you get ballistic. You become ballistic skill 2+ for the game, +1 ballistic skill, which is huge, especially against Alatok. So I thought, you know what, let's go for it and see what we get. I rolled a 3, so I got +2 move, but it's wicked anyway, because your regular movement then is 14 inches, but if you choose a 1 on the demonic surge, you then get another +2, so your standard move becomes 16 inches, which is brilliant, because you can move 16, then get +1 to your advance. If you choose that demonic surge, you can get like 16 inches +1 to the advance, so that's 17, and then you roll a d6, so that's average of like 21, average of 21 inch movement for that knight. And then you can charge afterwards with full tilt and get +1 to the charge because you chose that demonic surge. It's amazing. He's got like a 40-inch threat range, 40-inch like average, roughly average, 39 to 40-inch average charge range, which is absolutely awesome on a knight. So yeah, that's the Dreadblade Pact I chose on him. But for that Pact, I had to choose 2 Damnations. Now, Damnations are a funny thing, because people really don't want to take them. But Damnations, you only apply them if you fail a leadership check at the start of your battle round, which is pretty unlikely with leadership 9, I think it is. So, but I rolled like 5s and 6s on those 2 dice every turn. So my knight did not betray me. But even then, I mean, if you pick Damnations, you have to pick 2 negatives, but you could choose the 2 rubbish ones. So there's 2 really rubbish ones that don't do much to you. So the first one was, if you fail a leadership at the start of the battle round, then in a phase where that knight loses any wounds, at the end of that phase you roll a dice, and on a 4+ he loses 1 more wound. So your knight might lose a wound, maybe somewhere over the game. If you fail a leadership, then they wound you in a phase, then you roll a 4+, you take 1 wound. So that's not bad at all. Then the other one I chose was, because I was playing against Eldar, so I chose the Damnation where you fight last in the fight phase. I was like, that's fine, he's not going to charge a knight, and if he does, I still get to fight, it's just at the end. And if my knight charges in, it's not going to be against something that can kill him in Eldar. So, you know, fair dues. That's what I went for, and it was awesome having that. Having those extra 2 inches was really good. Made Dan think a lot, because you can catch people out with that. They'll think, oh, if I'm 24 away from a knight, then he'll only move 12 and he'll be out of Alatok range, so he'll be hitting me on -2, which is awesome for the planes, but then, you know, then you go, oh, well, actually, I've got an extra 2-inch move, so you have to be 26 away. Now, sometimes they can afford to be 26 away, but that's obviously you being a sporting player. If they just forget and they don't ask you, you know, you'll get inside Alatok range and you won't be -1. So that's pretty good. I like that. And then my final night, I just took the relic because I was like, he's going to shoot the Warlord because the Warlord is the biggest threat to him. Obviously, the ignores modifier, that's the biggest threat to him. But then the denying of psychic power on the other guy and having the extra 2-inch move, that's the next big thing. So that's what he'll go for. So I knew he was going to try and take those 2 knights out. So what I thought was, by the time I've shot him for a couple of turns and he's shot me, he won't have the firepower to completely kill another knight. So I need my 3rd knight to do as much damage as possible as long as it can. So I gave him the relic where he doubles the number of wounds he has remaining to see what bracket he uses. So that means even if I only have 7 wounds remaining on that knight, if you take 17 off me and I have 7 wounds remaining, I double that. So it counts as having 14 wounds for brackets. So he would use his top profile even if he only had 7 wounds left. So I thought that's perfect. That means he has to get me all the way down to 6 just to put me on middle bracket. And I thought, that's awesome, I'm going to take that. And that worked really well in that game as well, really well. And then stratagems. So, I mean, stratagems, I use the re-rolls to hit stratagem in that quite a lot. And I use the stratagem where I get to have a re-roll because one of my melters was really crap. But that's it. I didn't really use many stratagems with the knights at all. Oh, I used ion shields once as well, so that was pretty cool. Because it was on my Warlord, he went for my Warlord, and I thought, hold on, if I Ion Shield on my Warlord, he's going to start shooting other knights. But I thought, actually, that's fine. I was like, I want to Ion Shield on the Warlord because he's the one that's got Doom on him. So if he wants to shoot others, he won't have Doom, so that's good for me. But also, if he starts shooting another knight, I keep the one that ignores modifiers, which is huge. So he won't. So I chose Ion Shields, which is pretty good. It's a really good stratagem, +1 to your Inven. Gives you a 4-up Inven on the Warlord. That was really good. I like that. But I didn't really use any other stratagems. I mean, it would have been nice towards the end of the game to like have a full tilt or something because it mattered. But I used my CPs pretty quickly, and it meant that my Zangors didn't really use to their full ability because they had no rerolls and stuff like that. But overall, it was really good. I really enjoyed the Infernal household. They are my favourite ones. I mean, the Iconoclast household in the same match would have done absolutely terribly because their Gattlers would have been wounding on 5s and 1 damage. But because I was Infernal, my Gattlers were wounding on 4s and doing flat 2 damage to Wave Serpents, which was wicked. And then wounding planes on 3s and doing flat 3 damage is absolutely huge. So I really rate the Infernal household. But I will use the Iconoclast households as well and then get back to you guys either next week, or if you get an article next week, then it'll be the week after in one of these videos. And I believe that they won't be as good. I do believe that they won't be as good, but only time will tell, and I will use them and see how they come back. But Infernal, guys, Infernal is the way to go, in my opinion.